You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
I gotta start the episode like that. Gotta start the episode with some nice claps. But before we start the episode, I should actually tell you what I'm going to talk about. We're going to do a traditional podcast episode for the first time in a while. I know, like I said, I was going to do this, I don't know how long ago, but for those of you who have been exclusively following me on Spotify, I have been doing a series on YouTube with Resident Evil. Currently, that's at part 5 right now. It's kind of moving along slowly. Work life makes it difficult to get it out as fast as I would like, but it is slowly moving. So I have 5 parts of Resident Evil 4 remake, Joncast Plays series. So that's what's going on with the podcast. I haven't truly disappeared. I've just been on YouTube a lot more lately. So right now this episode is a YouTube and audio episode. So here you go. But I'm going to be talking about 2 things today. First, I can't believe I am going to be talking about what I am talking about, but I am going to be talking about The Flash, the latest episode of The Flash. So after we get into The Flash, I am also going to be talking about some stuff, some video game news, pretty much just my feelings on current state of affairs within the gaming world with the latest release for Xbox on Redfall. How much of a flop that kind of is looking like right now, and then also I'm going to be talking about how I'm feeling with industry trends as of lately and how things seem to be going. So yeah, but first, like I said, bravo. That is all I can say. Let's start with my history because I don't think I've ever really talked about The Flash much recently here. The last time I did a video, which you'll see pop up on the screen, there's going to be a link below if you want to go see it. I was part of the Random Noobs channel at the time. I believe it is a YouTube video that I did. But I stopped watching The Flash. I gave up on The Flash. I was kind of done with it. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I just felt like it was the same repetitive thing over and over. I felt the story was lacking. I just quit. I give up on it. That was probably, I want to believe, season 5, season 6 range. I gave up. That was like when I finally said, I'm done. I had enough. I really don't care no more. That was around right after Crisis on Infinite Earths. I believe Ramsey Rosas Bloodwork was the villain at that time, and I also believe that was probably after COVID, maybe, not really, can't really remember, but it was sometime around that time range. I just really wasn't enjoying it, and I pretty much, like I said, I did a whole video, so if you want to watch that, the link will be in the description down below. And you can go check that out. But I said, and I know one of my friends, Joe from Random Noobs, is probably gonna see this and be shocked. But I said to him that at this very moment, I really did not care about The Flash until the last episode. I wasn't gonna watch it. I really didn't care what was going on. And I know as of the last thing that I heard, because I'm really so tuned out from The Flash. And he had sent me a video of some clips of Oliver Queen returning, Stephen Amell returning to the show for one final appearance in the last season. And again, I really didn't care. I was just like, I don't care. But this week, the latest episode that dropped, season 9, episode 10, came out. And usually, like I said, I don't care, but it's rare that I see episode of The Flash pop up on my timeline, like on Twitter and stuff. And that's what kind of made me a little bit interested, because I started seeing it and it was trending. And I started seeing some stuff that was being talked about. And I decided, you know what? Because it seems like that these final 4 episodes is being billed as like one continuous thing, right? So we got it. The title of the episode is... sorry about that. The title of the episode is A New World Part 1, and I'm not sure if the entire ending is going to be a 4-part series, but yeah, this is where we are right now. So with, like, I had one big spoiler, which was kind of the circle was completed, and I just felt like, you know what, that was enough to interest me to see how the circle was completed, because as much stuff has happened over the years, you know, I had to just like believe that couldn't have happened or wasn't going to happen. But to spoilers before I go into it, heavy spoilers before I go into it. This is your opportunity to walk away. You can come back later in the video. I'll probably have a timestamp of when I start talking about the next stuff. But I was surprised that the Barry that we're with, became the Barry from episode 1, the original timeline Flash. And by that we mean he was a Flash that saved himself from Thawne, Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash as a kid. He became the Flash that that started it all. The very first Flash we saw. He became the Flash that stopped his younger self from saving his mom. And it's kind of like, wow. I didn't expect that to happen. I was completely shocked. But let's before we talk about the end, let's go throughout the episode. Let's do a breakdown of the episode. And yeah, we started with I don't remember the actor's name, but the actor who plays Eddie Thawne in the very first season. Eddie Thawne had died in the very first season. Eddie Thawne, he sacrificed himself to kill Reverse Flash in the first season, and his body was swallowed by a singularity, I believe. Then from there, we're kind of left vague, because we're following him around. At first, we don't see his face. We're following him from behind. And, you know, we don't know what time he's in. We don't know. I assume he's in Central City, or maybe an alternate timeline, Central City in some way. We follow him around throughout the episode, and he gets up to the security desk, gives the guard a cup of coffee. The character in question, the name of the character is Malcolm Gilmore. You can see that with a tag that when he gets his ID badge, half his finger is covering Malcolm, but I'm going to assume that it is Malcolm at this point. That's what I've kind of seen online as well. We know the last name is definitely Gilmore, and the first name is Malcolm. Seems like, allegedly. Can't be really anything else with LM. I mean, that I could think of, but because I assume they're going on, it's more likely than not he's Cobalt Blue, and that character is Malcolm Thawne in comic books. So then maybe eventually is revealed that he's Malcolm Thawne. But yeah, we start the episode with him, and then we go to, you know, traditional. It felt like opening up the episode with our you know, our normal crew. It kind of had that sense of finality to it. You know, it kind of felt like, in a way, we are starting to say, you know, goodbye. We're starting to slowly detach, and it seemed, you know, like, I believe this episode was titled, the whole title is A New World, and in an episode this is part 1, and I think it said reunions. So, and there's definitely a lot of reunions here, but but yeah, we start with you know, I believe her name is Keone, which is Caitlin. Look, I can't break it down entirely for you, because, like I said, I've been out of it. I have no idea what happened between just like season 6 and now. All I know is that her name is Keone. She has different powers. Somehow she's a merger of Caitlin and Frost, And yeah, I'm not going to put any thought into it. I'm just going to enjoy these last couple episodes, or try to enjoy these last couple episodes. I hope it remains as good as this episode was. But yeah, I really don't even care to get into what she is or what she can do, but it's whatever. So we go with her writing a letter to Caitlin and Frost, and saying she wished that one more person was present that she can talk to. After that, we go with we get to Barry and Iris. Oh, I forgot we got Chester and Allegra. We start with them. Kind of Chester trying to make her a new suit, stuff like that. And then eventually we get to Barry and Iris. Barry is placing dampeners around the house because he's worrying about the future children being born. And just in case they have speed powers when they're born, he's placing dampeners around the house so they don't take off as babies, and then boom, he just disappears. And then we are taken back to that fateful day, March 18th, 2000. When we first get there, Barry realizes that it is the year 2000 because of a license plate. And then he goes to the CCPD, or he tries to run back in time to where he was, but he realizes that for some reason he's stuck, and he's trying to figure out why. Why is he stuck there? What does he need to do? So he goes to the CCPD, and we see Joe as a beat cop. We also see, I believe he would be Detective Singh right now, not Captain. We see a younger version of him with, nice hair and all that stuff. And then we go with Joe, and, he's asking Joe for help, and that's when he realizes what day it is. So he goes and he tries to call Martin Stein. It was nice hearing his voice. I wonder if he was actually, if he recorded those lines, or if or did they use some trickery in a way of recording different parts of different times he was in episodes and stuff like that. But yeah, so after that he sees his parents, and it's a shocking moment, and then we get Reverse Flash knocks him into the street, knocks him out, and his parents save him. So I'm trying to get through this as fast as possible. So he gets to spend his parents, or his father had him in the hospital, and he is trying to not interact with people much from this time, because he realizes that anything could change the timeline, and he's making sure he doesn't reveal who he actually is. So he ends up spending pretty much the day with them, and just, I guess, feeling that love from his parents, stuff like that, how they were. And for him, by the time we get to later in the episode, it kind of it filled the void that he said that he always felt, because he never had his parents. And for them to say, things that they said in the episode, it just made him feel like, how much he now he knows, they love him and stuff like that. But, a little while after that, in the hospital, we get to Joe, who I believe is possessed by Cobalt Blue in some way at that point in time. There's a crystal that's around that he picks up, and at that point he becomes possessed, and Joe becomes kind of the villain of the episode. And yeah, so I believe we had a cameo from Bloodwork's mom. I believe that she I didn't really snoop around to confirm it or not, but I believe the head nurse that was being spoken to, or the head doctor that was being spoken to in the hospital, I believe that was his mom. I might be wrong about that. Like I said, I didn't really go and try to confirm it, but that would be a nice little cameo. And Barry is fighting Joe in the hospital, and eventually Barry, he gets the crystal out of Joe, and yeah. So from there, I skipped. Before that, we had the return of original Reverse Flash. Now, let me say, I feel like the original Reverse Flash actor, let me get his name real quick. So I believe the Matt Lester, I believe he kind of got the raw end of the stick in a way. From what I saw in Legends, I always thought he was a great actor, and I always felt like he never really got a chance because we love Tom Cavanaugh so much as Reverse Flash. So in this episode, with him appearing, and we pretty much had a whole episode dedicated to him and Barry. I felt like their chemistry was just perfect. I loved it. Their on-screen chemistry was just great. Barry believed that it was him that pulled him back to this time, and he just felt like, he felt he's up to something, and then he realizes that Thawne is there to kill him that day, and they sat down, had a beer. I love that scene. It was weird seeing them both have a beer, but it was amazing. I loved it. I loved those scenes with him, and I feel like I said, I feel like throughout the whole history of the Flash, I just felt like he is Eobard Thawne, but we got so caught up with Tom Cavanaugh as Reverse Flash, and I'm probably going to say that I believe Tom Cavanaugh is for me, because we've seen more of it, he is the better Reverse Flash actor, but I just felt like Matt Lester never really got that chance to shine, and this moment I think it gave him that chance to shine. And also when he was on Legends of Tomorrow as the villain there, I feel like that also gave him opportunity to shine. So yeah, we get the meeting of them two, and like I said, it was just great TV at that moment. So like I said, we got to Barry ended up saving Joe, and then from there we got to Barry returning to see his parents one final time at the hospital, and having a conversation with them, and saying, pretty much not telling them who he is, but saying how he feels about his parents, having lost both of them, and what he wanted to say to them. So he said to them basically what he always wanted to say to them, and they told him, at the end of the day, if he was their kid, that was the hardest sentence to say for some reason. If he was their kid, they would definitely tell him how proud they are of him and how happy they are for him. And, when they walk away, the last thing his mom says to him is that to take care of the baby, because he does tell him that he's having a baby. And, it was beautiful. But then we get to the final part, biggest part of the episode. After that, Barry takes off, and then he meets Reverse Flash, I believe on the block of his house. And it's at that moment when it was happening, like I said, just kind of coming there, watching it, putting it out of my mind what I read. I was just like, at first I was like, are they going to do it? Kind of they're on the block. I'm like, are they really going to do it? And yeah, they have a conversation, and Barry tells Thawne that he's not there to save himself. He's there to save Thawne. He's there to save him from himself, basically. And that was kind of, a little different twist that you can see in Reverse Flash face how taken aback he was by it. And he just didn't believe him by the end of the conversation, and he believed that he won. And we know, I believe at this point we know Barry knows, right? Barry knows how to, what's going to play out here. So we get the scene. Thawne takes off, Barry takes off behind him, and they enter the house. They're fighting in the house. They're, you're pretty much watching the season one all over again. And we're seeing Barry become the original timeline Flash. And Barry stops himself. You see his younger self from season one who came to try to stop it. He tells him to stop. And he continues fighting Reverse Flash. He takes himself, and then you see his mom die. And it was like, wow, like the Flash finally, like, it was like that. It finally became a full circle kind of moment. Like, wow, like they did it. Like at this, I would have never believed it would happen, because I believe Crisis on Infinite Earths wiped out the newspaper. I believe when all the I might have this wrong because it's been a while, but when all the universes all the Earths became one Earth, but then I think later it was revealed that other Earths still existed. But when all all the Earths became one Earth. I believe the newspaper was completed in that moment, and after that, the newspaper disappeared. Like it wasn't a headline anymore. So now, after that thing happened, Barry talks to Thawne, and he says, "Oh, you saved yourself because his mom is a fixed point in time. His mom dying is a fixed point in time, and it has to happen." And now he realizes that he's stuck there. He doesn't have his speed. Now he has to watch Barry grow up. Whole thing, and then Barry disappears again. And after that, we get to the end of the episode, which takes us back to Malcolm Gilmore, and now we're basically watching how Barry became the Flash, but it seems like the reverse Flash. This is a reverse Flash thing because the lightning that we see is red, and it seems like Malcolm Gilmore has become the new reverse or the new negative Speedforce avatar, right? And the episode ends with him, I believe, the Speedforce giving him a folder, a confidential folder from the CCPD. He opens it, and it turns out to be Eddie Thawne. But when he sees it, he goes, "Who the hell is Eddie Thawne?" And that's how the episode ends. Now, based on the previews, it seems like this is Iris typing up the newspaper. The Flash vanishes in a crisis. So it seems like that is being fulfilled. There's a little snippet of it in the preview, but with the end of the episode, like I said, I've been so tuned out from the Flash, but I think I'm going to continue watching these last 4 episodes. Like I said, I hope it remains good. And with only 4 episodes left, I hope they pay it off the right way. I hope that by the end of it, this will be good. Like, I'm willing to forget everything that happened in between. And I just want to, like I said, I'm here. I'm back. I'm here again just to enjoy the Flash. So, overall, like, I would give the episode like a 10 out of 10. Like, that's how I felt walking away from it. I feel like it just, like I said, that nostalgia in the episode, of Reverse Flash, Matt Lester returning. I'm just, it made me like I said, excited. Like, the days I felt to be happy to go, wait for the next episode of Flash. That's how I walked away feeling from that watching that episode. So, I feel, little theory. I kind of feel like, by the end of this all, I feel like, based on this preview as well, I feel like Cobalt Blue, it looked like in the scene in the preview, that his Eddie Thawne's memories, or the last when he was alive, when he died, when he sacrificed himself, those memories are being forced into his head. And I kind of feel like, by the end of it, it's going to be revealed that he is a Thawne, and like I said, Malcolm Thawne. But I kind of feel like we're going to get back to come around to Tom Cavanaugh returning as Reverse Flash as well, and he's going to be the mastermind some way, somehow behind this, of Cobalt Blue becoming the negative speed for Avatar, and him trying to plot something. I feel like somehow, some way, it's gonna happen, because I can't imagine, from what I know, I don't think Tom Cavanaugh has appeared yet this season, and I can't imagine the show ending without going back to him at least one more time, even if it's not the way that I'm saying. Like, I kind of also expect maybe a cameo from Cisco at some point. If original Flash came back, I felt like maybe we see Zoom back as well. I kind of felt like, at one point during the episode, in my mind with the blue crystal, I was thinking, what if it's not what we think it is? Like, what if it's not, well, at least in that moment, it's not Cobalt Blue. What if it's not him? What if in that moment it was actually Savitar? it was just popping in my mind, right? And I was just thinking like, what if? I mean, I felt like, the obvious right, is that they're setting up something on one side. That's usually the Flash formula. They're setting up something on one side for it to get paid off. But I was like, what if they go with a swerve, right? Like, and not just in that specific moment. Maybe it's Savitar. Maybe Cobalt Blue. He's he's underling for Cobalt Blue, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much my overall feelings of it. Like I said, I'm probably going to tune into the next episode, and I'm probably going to do another podcast episode like this, talking about how I felt walking away with it from it. Giovanni, I know you're going to be happy that I'm watching The Flash right now, so you got somebody to talk to about it. But, yeah. Moving on, I wanted to talk about some gaming news. As of, let's see, very recently, this week, Microsoft, Xbox, they released Redfall. Redfall from Bethesda Studios, I think Arcane specifically within Bethesda. They released Redfall. For those of you who don't know, the game has released to some very bad reviews. Just very poor performance. Dropouts. Dead AI. There's clips all over the internet about what's going on with it. And I'm going to preface my comments with saying that I have not personally played Redfall yet. I'm reacting to what I see online. I do want to play the game myself, but I'm waiting for patches to come before I start playing it. Based on what I'm seeing, I do see that some people are having good experiences with it, which I am a fan of. I do like to see at least some people enjoy it. I am also I'm of opinion that, hey, I don't want any game to be bad. I would love all games to come out good. I wish the games did not have these problems. But okay, here we go. With Redfall was supposed to be the game that Xbox. It was the fruits of Xbox labor. It's supposed to be the first game that came out. It was supposed to, be the game that our first exclusive in a very long time, because Xbox does have a trouble history of releasing first party games that are in good condition or good stable working when it comes out. We had issues with Halo, which is probably the big one as of late, got delayed, all that stuff. And when it comes to Redfall, I'm very disappointed that the game came out in the condition that it's in. I feel like if it needed to be delayed, it should have been delayed. I don't believe in Xbox wanted to. I think the story is that they wanted to recoup. Not even that is. It's just a theory at this point that Xbox wanted to recoup sales, and they wanted to just get it out the door so they can make whatever money back they could. As much money as Microsoft makes, I just personally don't believe that's enough of an excuse or even something I'm willing to accept. I believe that game should have been delayed as long as it needs to at least get it in a working state. I was personally disappointed when it was announced that the game was shipping in 30 frames per second, and prior to that, IGN was doing preview videos. I know some people had issue with those preview videos, at least just the person playing the game. But when they was releasing those previews, it was played as 60 frames per second, and I believe it was on PC. And it wasn't really announced until the last moment, which I think was about a week or two ago, that the game wouldn't launch with 60 frames per second. I am of belief. This is how I feel. I enjoy playing games at 60 frames per second. I do not believe that just because a game comes out 30 frames per second, that is the be-all, end-all of games. Because games today, whether people realize it or not, still comes out 30 frames per second. I believe it depends on what the game is. I just believe, for Xbox specifically, to tout that they have the most powerful console, to tout, again, before the game came out, that it was supposed to be at 60 frames per second. I believe that was a promise. when 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 the when the when the console is being announced, we basically had this promise of games kind of being up, being at 30 frames per second, when stuff comes out. So when it was announced, like I said, I was disappointed in it. I believed that I'm of opinion that we really shouldn't be getting games, at least a AAA third party game AAA first party game at 60 frames per second for what this game was supposed to be. But like I said, if I'm still going to play it, if it still ends up being good at 30 frames per second, it's not the end of the world for me. I'm just disappointed by it. I wish it was 60 frames per second. I'm not sure if I'm going to be specifically waiting for that patch to come through, but at the moment, like I said, I'm disappointed by it. So when that first came out, that was kind of a red flag. So lost my train of thought. That's what happens when you ramble. With the latest with the release right now, I feel right now with Redfall, this makes me worried about Starfield. Starfield is another Xbox game dropping this, or supposed to drop this year. So I kind of feel like Starfield has now received a whole bunch of pressure, a whole bunch of expectations on it that it really didn't need to have, all because of Redfall. And I kind of feel like I said, this wasn't really specifically about Redfall, but this is an industry thing for me right now. I'm coming to the point with the gaming industry that it seems like it's okay to release bad games, and the excuse is always we're going to fix it later. Like, that has happened a lot recently, and Redfall is the latest string of that. And I'm just like, I'm pretty much overall done with it. For those of you who don't know, right? So we had The Last of Us, which had a horrible port to PC, right? Stuff wasn't working. Stuff was just bad. We had games that got delayed, but then still launched with bad ports and stuff like that. We started that with The Last of Us. I think that was probably the initial game that kind of started it this year, at least. Maybe if it's not this year, late last year. Just bad game. That's it. Just a bad game. After that, everybody remembers Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is what it was, and it's better today. It's definitely playable today. I was one of the lucky few who played Cyberpunk at launch and didn't have a lot of issues. Like, I had a very small amount of issues with the time I spent with the game. I played it on the Series X at the time, and I had really no issues with it. But seeing how it performed on like the consoles that it was supposed to be for, which was PS4 and Xbox One at the time, it was truly unacceptable. That, like, again, it was pushed out, and I'm, like I said, people have to know about these things before they come out. It's not like it just happens all of a sudden. So we had that. And now, recently we just had Jedi Survivor, which is another game. At least I think the most of the problems are PC, but there are problems on console as well. And, we got that. And then the game that everybody really hates for one reason or another, Forspoken. We have, a whole bunch of big releases that dropped that seem like, they get pushed out the door regardless of the situation that the game is in. And right now I'm of opinion that, this needs to stop. I'm because I've had this conversation a long time ago. I understand a day one patch. If a day one patch fixes issues that we are not going to possibly see, because that's what the purpose of a day one patch is, maybe even day zero patch, I get it. But if a game is going to release and it's broken, like it's taken away from the overall experience of the game, it needs to be delayed. It just needs, like, it shouldn't be pushed out the door, especially when people pre-order games. I don't really pre-order games much anymore because I don't feel like I trust a pre-order game at this point in time. And usually if I do pre-order a game, it's something that I kind of felt like, okay, this is not going to let me down. I think the last game I pre-ordered, it might have been Jedi Survivor, to be honest. Before that, I can't even tell you, but I think the last game I actually pre-ordered was Jedi Survivor. But I have not played Jedi Survivor yet because I'm still playing Resident Evil 4 Remake right now. So with the games in the state that they're being pushed out in, I just felt like with all the stuff going on in the gaming world with Activision and stuff like that, when are we going to come to the point that people realize or people speak up on launching these games in the state that they're in? Because Xbox, even like an Xbox situation, they buy up all these studios and they're supposed to have all this, extra help if they need it. We have seen other studios assisting other studios within the Xbox studio ecosystem. So it is, of my opinion, why is it that, we can't move that manpower to help this, like a game like this? This game was supposed to be a big deal. Why not to make sure this game is functioning at minimum? Like if it came out and the game, game received bad reviews just for poor story, or gameplay is boring, stuff like that. If that was what the reviews are based on, then it is what it is. But can the game at least minimum be working, functioning like it's supposed to be? If there's a lack of vision in the game, all that stuff, then I get it. That's why it's bad. But when a game is being pushed out because being pushed out with game breaking stuff in it, I'm just like, I'm at a point with the industry like, why? Like, why does this keep happening? And we pretend it's okay. Phil Spencer recently was on Kinda Funny Podcast to talk about the whole situation. And first, I was on Twitter a little upset with how Redfall launched, and I was one of those people, so I feel like Phil Spencer needed to step down, but I feel like I need to clarify that a little bit. I don't really feel like he needs to step down entirely from Xbox. I feel like in terms of the work needs to be delegated. I feel like because under Phil Spencer, Xbox has definitely been successful. That is not an argument. It has been, all the studios they've acquired, they're working on. We'll see where it goes, but they're working on acquiring Activision Blizzard right now. So all the effort that he has made is, appreciated and respected. When I say I feel he needs to step down, I feel like there needs to be a system in place within Microsoft and Xbox to delegate what needs to be done for these games to get out. Because if you have all these studios, if you have all these if you have all these studios and have all these different people who can, assist, you have this backlog. I believe he said that the goal is to try to get a first party game out every quarter. I believe, hey, like in Redfall's case, somebody should have looked at it and said, hey, this game is not suitable to launch, right? Let's delay it. We have to delay it. Like I said, I don't really believe Xbox is in a way of having a need for money just for Microsoft backing it. But for them to have it, if it is their excuse, if it became we're just going to push this game out to recoup whatever we can on it, I just find that unacceptable coming from Microsoft specifically. I feel there should be like a checks and balances system in some way, somehow, to make sure games don't come out in this state, especially with Xbox, because like I said, they build up so much good faith, they get you hyped, but then the game comes out and it's like we just take a step backwards, and it just feels like Xbox has the hardest time releasing a first party game that's in a working good state when it drops. Like I said, Halo ultimately is a disappointment. The multiplayer was good at launch when it dropped, but you see, as time went on, they did not have a vision for it. There was nothing that came out behind it. It was like base game launched, and we had to wait. Felt like I think like 3 to 6 months, somewhere in that time frame for an update to happen in terms of like battle pass stuff, all that stuff. It wasn't like the game was performing bad. It's just they didn't have a vision to go behind it. So, and then also I think the big thing with Halo was it was supposed to launch with it was supposed to launch with multiplayer, couch co-op multiplayer, and then it didn't come out. So it's like I said, they built up the hype for Halo, and then Halo came, Halo went, and it became ultimately a disappointment. Now we get to Redfall. I feel like there's a game in between, but we did have Hi-Fi Rush, which came out, which was kind of a surprise drop. After I forgot what show it was at, but it was a surprise drop, and that was a relatively successful game. Then we also have Minecraft, Minecraft Legends, and it was just like, I mean, Minecraft is not for me, so yeah. But Minecraft, I got again. It was I'm losing my train of thought because I'm trying to type and talk at the same time. You see, this is why you don't do these things. You just like, but, but sorry, back on track. But it feels like, yeah, we get the small stuff, but then when it comes to the really big games, the ones that everybody gets really excited about, is like, it comes out in some type of performance that is just like, what? Why? Like, why is it coming, like, with all the stuff that's supposed to be behind this? Why is this happening, kind of thing, right? So, it's like when if Phil Spencer was, kind of to delegate the work, maybe specifically create a team to avoid these things and make sure these things don't happen. That's where I stand with it when I say he should step down. I don't believe he should leave Xbox, like I said, a successful dude. But there's also one other statement that he made on Kinda Funny, which was something along the lines of that he believes that even if they had an answer of creating Xbox exclusives, that does not mean that they will overtake or that it will make people come. No, there's two statements. I'm combining them for some reason. First one was that if Starfield was like an 11 out of 10 game, that's not going to make people sell their PlayStation right away. That's first part of the statement. Another part of the statement is he feels that people make it seem like if Xbox just started creating first-party games, that will solve console or moving consoles, and he just says that that's not viable. Now, I kind of have like a little bit of pushback on that statement because I kind of feel like if, when we go to Sony and we do that, hey, I have both consoles, so that is, I have a PS5 and a Series X, but when is the last time we had a first-party Sony game flop as hard as Xbox is? It'll take you a long time to think about it, because I also feel like this game was very, very underrated because of how it launched. But after that game was going through the history books. That game was not red. What am I saying? I have the game in my mind and I forgot it. You see that? Wow, that's crazy. That was Days Gone. Didn't really forget it. Days Gone launched, and it was kind of, when Days Gone launched, like I said, first party game. Forspoken, for people who may or may not bring that up, it's not a first party game. But first party game, we had Days Gone. That was the last game that probably launched in some type of state that had something messed up with it at launch, made it, kind of unplayable at times, all that stuff. And it wasn't even as bad as Redfall. But that was probably the last first-party Sony game that came out. Sony does not seem to have this issue. Sony releases games that, when they come out, they're working for the most part. If they do, they may have small bugs, but it's never game-breaking bugs or bugs that you sit here and talk about for months later. They have all these first-party games that, at least for Sony, it makes you feel like the investment is worth it. Like I personally, I haven't bought God of War yet. Still trying to get to that. But Horizon Zero Dawn is there. You know, you got both Spider-Man games, Miles Morales and the original Spider-Man, which if people don't know, soon the PS5 version is about to become you can finally purchase it standalone. If you already own Miles Morales, it's only $10, but they're about to launch that game for $50, and I don't agree with that. But it is what it is. I believe it's also going to be on PC, which is another thing. So, yeah, when it comes to Sony, we don't have those problems over on the Sony platform. Like I said, I am not a fanboy. Don't care. I do not give a damn about this console war stuff. I just want to enjoy good games. So, like I said, it seems like with Xbox, when they buy all these studios, they have a whole portfolio of studios that they bought over the last couple years. But if you can't launch a good game or a game in working in condition, it feels like all this hard work is for nothing. It feels like all this is wasted and it's no point. Like, if they do end up acquiring Activision, I'm like, is Call of Duty eventually going to get to a state that it launches in a bad way? Like, it seems like, you guys, we're not making sure that these games are working when they come out. And I know it's crazy, but under different leadership, it's like, and Xbox needs to get a handle on this. And even the industry as a whole needs to get a handle on this. Like I said, all these games that have been launching in some type of bad state that kind of make them unplayable, it needs to stop. It needs to end. Like, this can't keep going on like this. And as an avid gamer, I hate to see it like this. And like I said, at the end of the day, this it's not really about the console war portion of it. It's not really like I don't believe in this like people who celebrate Redfall failing. I don't really believe in that. I kind of feel like if you do that, you're an idiot, because at the end of the day, everybody losing. Redfall is a brand new IP. It's it's a new vision. It's a new something hasn't been touched yet, and it makes when things like this happen, it has like an effect on the industry as a whole, because it makes other people maybe not to want to take those same steps because they see others fail. Take that same liberty to go, hey, we want to make something brand new. So it has an effect on everybody, whether you like it or not, and it has a bad effect on everybody. And that's why, like, at the end of the day, for me, I want to see a game succeed. I would like to see, like, regardless of what it is, like, the people who are playing Redfall right now and are enjoying it and having a great time with it, power to you. Enjoy it. You bought it, and if you like it, you like it. That's it. End of the day. It don't even matter what anybody else says. That's how I felt about Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, it launched and all these bad stuff came out about it and all this stuff, and I did not have a problem playing that game. I enjoyed it. I had the greatest time playing it, and I said, hey, I understand all the bad things going on with every other console, but my experience was not the same as everybody else's. And if you're having a great experience with that game, that is all that matters. But when people start to hop on just to, Xbox releasing bad games, that's why, Microsoft sucks. Like, no, like, come on, grow up. We passed that point already. Like, just at this point, we're receiving good games. And like I said, at the end of the day, it just needs to stop. It just really needs to stop. This really needs to come to the end. We need to get to a point where, hey, if games are being released, I can understand a few bugs here and there, but if it's being broken, being released broken, and it's just like, no. Like, even like Starfield right now, if Starfield launches anywhere near this, like, it has to, at this point, I feel like really believe that it has to be damn near perfect when it launches. Like, it can't have any problems. If it does have problems, it has to be gameplay problems. Maybe visions is not met, or people don't like certain things about it, like those type of problems, not bugs and glitches and all this stuff, game breaking stuff, dead AI. Like, it can't have any of that. And that's the pressure that is now on Starfield. But I think mostly I am done here. Who knows when the next time I'm gonna do one of these. But it's been fun. Hopefully, I'm not even gonna say hopefully, I'm going to be releasing part 6 of my Resident Evil playthrough sometime soon, sometime in the near future, once I have time to sit down and play, because time is hard to come by these days. But once I have some time, I'm gonna sit down, finally get to part 6. Where in my brain, I'm like, I'm gonna beat this game, recording it. Okay, I'm not gonna play without recording it. Like I can play it without recording it, but I'm going to record that game through all the way to the end. That's what I'm trying to do right now, and I'm sticking to that. Hopefully, it'll take me a really long time, but I am sticking to that. Once I'm done with that, I think I'm going to finally move on to Jedi Survivor. But that depends. I think I'm waiting for patches to happen on that game before I truly get there. So yeah, other than that, you guys know where to find me. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those places. If you want to follow me directly, see my thoughts on things, I am on Twitter at jtrell180. That is down in the link, and link will be down in the description. I'm also on Instagram, but I'm primarily on Twitter these days. If you want to communicate with me, that's where you can find me. So other than that, I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. Hey, comment down below your thoughts on some things that I've said. Hey, if you want to be a fanboy, go ahead. Go down in the comments. But yeah, maybe next time that you'll see me on just a solid episode like this. Like I said, depends on how the next episode of Flash looks like. If I end up hating it, if I end up not liking it, I'm going to be questioning if I want to make a podcast episode about it or not. But yeah. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your night, whenever you listen to this. Peace.